Despite its promise, there's plenty of concern about our AI future. But in towns across America, one issue is already front and center. Here's Robert Costa.
Archbald is a little corner of northeastern Pennsylvania, where coal used to be big business. But now, there is a new boom: data centers.
There are multiple projects happening at the same time. So we're not just looking at one, we're looking at many.
Yes.
Kaylee Cornell, a teacher, and Sarah Gabriel, an ICU nurse, run a neighborhood association in this community of 7,000, where a half-dozen data centers have been proposed.
What's it like living in Archbald?
It is a really nice small town. It feels like home.
I just really love it, and I can't imagine being anywhere else.
But they and others are alarmed about the possible impact on the environment, their electric bills, and the town's character.
It's going to just completely change the landscape. Anywhere there's trees, there's probably not going to be any longer.
We'll stop it if we could help it.
Stopping it won't be easy. Demand is huge. Tech companies say they need these massive structures, full of computing power to fuel the AI revolution. So developers are rushing to build them in places like Archbald, rich in land, water, and power. But there is an intensifying debate over the scope of jobs and revenue they bring. And many communities are on edge about rising electric utility bills.
Get out of here! We made up our minds. Go home!
In Archbald, the push to slow things down has upended local politics, and one project has hit a roadblock.
You didn't expect to fight against AI superpowers in the global economy?
Yes,
and the
correct.
development of
We
Archbald?
don't want to be, no.
No. Yeah.
So this wasn't
Absolutely
part
not.
of the plan?
No,
not at all.
No. We're not against AI data centers, but because the industry is so new and unregulated, it is concerning that if we just keep moving forward, we're going to get to a point where, like a point of no return.
Elsewhere, data centers are already a way of life, with more than 4,000 and counting in operation across the country, and many more going up around the world. Here in Loudoun County, Virginia, known as Data Center Alley, these anonymous sci-fi looking buildings seem to be everywhere.
This building right here is north of 1 million square feet, but you could visualize it. You could park maybe not just one, but 2 aircraft carriers.
Two aircraft carriers.
Andy Power is the president and CEO of Digital Realty, which owns and operates hundreds of data centers globally.
Just how big is this sector?
This is hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars as an asset class.
Power knows that these sprawling sites can seem ominous, but he is confident they are the backbone of the emerging AI economy.
The digital infrastructure that you're standing next to essentially could be the breakthroughs that are cure new diseases. It'll essentially improve quality of life.
What would you say to someone who says, Andy, we respect what you're doing, but we just don't want it here?
I would say I completely understand it. Let me tell you why this location makes the most sense for the data centers. And this infrastructure is going to help change the world you're living in today and for years to come.
In Washington, there are fierce critics calling for a moratorium on data center construction until tougher AI regulations are enacted by Congress.
I fear that Congress is totally unprepared for the magnitude of the changes that are already taking place.
But President Trump and many Republicans say data centers are vital for our future economy.
How important is it for America to win this race in AI?
I mean, I think it's the most important question facing our country.
Senator Dave McCormick, a Pennsylvania Republican, has worked to bring data center investments to his home state.
I think the net benefit for Pennsylvania is enormous.
He says data centers need to work with, not against, communities, but wants companies building in his state.
There's got to be a covenant. There's got to be a promise that goes from the community to those that are developing in the community of what kind of job creation, how they're going to protect the environment, how they're going to protect water supply, how they're going to protect energy costs. When a community looks at the totality of the jobs, the tax revenue, the new roads, the libraries, the schools, the opportunity of jobs for their kids, I think these are pretty compelling.
Back in Archbald, the data centers continue to move forward. And for Kaylee Cornell and Sarah Gabriel, it's a reality they're grappling with every day.
People live here because of the quality of life. Yes, obviously you need jobs, but this would be intrinsically changing the character of Archbald Borough.
So you feel like you still have a fighting chance to stop this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. I mean, we have no other alternative. I mean, it's our home. We have to fight.
Yes.
Dario Amodei is at the center of a new kind of firestorm.
It's about the principle of standing up for what's right.
What's wrong, in his view, is why his AI company, Anthropic, has been banned from the federal government.
It feels very punitive and inappropriate given the amount that we've done for U.S. national security.
Anthropic created Claude, an AI chatbot you might use at work or school. Since last summer, its government version has been deeply embedded in military intelligence and classified operations at the Pentagon. This past week, in the lead-up to the attack on Iran, the Defense Department demanded Anthropic hand over its AI without restrictions for lawful military use. The company refused.
We have these two red lines. We've had them from day one. We are still advocating for those red lines. We're not going to move on those red lines.
Those red lines not allowing Anthropic's AI to perform mass surveillance of Americans and prohibit its AI from powering fully autonomous weapons without any human involvement.
It doesn't show the judgment that a human soldier would show. Friendly fire or shooting a civilian or just the wrong kind of things. We don't want to sell something that we don't think is reliable, and we don't want to sell something that could get our own people killed or that could get innocent people killed.
It's a question of who should control the most advanced technology ever created, a private tech company or the federal government.
Do you think that Anthropic knows better than the Pentagon here?
One of the things about a free market and free enterprise is different folks can provide different products under different principles. Our model has a personality. It's capable of certain things. It's able to do certain things reliably. It's able to not do certain things reliably. And I think we are a good judge of what our models can do reliably and what they cannot do reliably.
After several days of talks, President Trump on Friday directed the U.S. government to halt all use of Anthropic's AI, canceling more than $200 million in federal contracts. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth labeled it a supply chain risk to national security, a first for an American company.
President Trump has called Anthropic a left-wing woke company. Is this decision at all driven by ideology?
I can't speak for what other parties are doing and what they're doing.
But you and here in Anthropic.
Yeah, look, we, I think, have tried to be very neutral. So this idea that we've somehow been partisan or that we haven't been even-handed, we've been studiously even-handed.
Critics call this an abuse of power, what the Pentagon is doing and what the White House is doing. Do you believe this is an abuse of power?
You know, again, I would return to the idea that this is unprecedented.
But is it an abuse of power?
You know, this has never happened before. This designation has never happened before with an American company. And I think it was made very clear in some of their statements, in some of their language, that this was retaliatory and punitive. I don't know what else to call it. Retaliatory and punitive.
As Amodei and Anthropic face a government ban, his main rival, Sam Altman of OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, struck his own deal with the Pentagon on Friday. Amodei says Anthropic plans to take legal action.
All we've seen are tweets from the president and tweets from Secretary Hegseth.
And he says Anthropic remains at the negotiating table, hoping to talk.
If you had a moment with the president right now, what would you say to him?
We are patriotic Americans. We have done everything we have done has been for the sake of this country, for the sake of supporting U.S. national security. We believe in defeating our autocratic adversaries. We believe in defending America. The red lines we have drawn, we drew because We believe that crossing those red lines is contrary to American values. Disagreeing with the government is the most American thing in the world. And we are patriots. In everything we have done here, we have stood up for the values of this country.
In recent months, we've spent plenty of time focusing on the mysteries of artificial intelligence, but nothing quite like this. With Luke Burbank, seeing is believing.
Last fall, if you were one of the people attending the prestigious Summit of the Future at the United Nations, chances are you also saw a truly unique piece of art. Something pulsing and swirling and essentially living, the creation of Rafiq Anadol, powered by artificial intelligence.
I think AI is inhuman, but I think AI is a mirror for humanity. So we just invent a mirror, and this mirror has an intelligence, reasoning, so it will be like a very interesting journey for humanity.
That mirror, as he calls it, is large nature model coral, which uses an AI algorithm to draw on over 100 million photographs of coral to hallucinate, you heard that right, a series of new, totally original coral images. As his work creates new digital coral, he hopes to draw attention to the coral die-off worldwide.
It will be a painful process, most likely, for the humanity in general, when we are all transparently in front of the mirror with AI.
If that idea that artificial intelligence can be a living mirror sounds kind of out there, well then welcome to the world of Rafiq Anadol, where big ideas lurk beneath bigger-than-life art installations. His work, unsupervised machine hallucinations, was the first generative art ever acquired by the Museum of Modern Art in New York.
We train AI on 138,000 older artworks at Museum of Modern Art's archive, and let AI never ever replicate existing artwork in the archive, but find a way, a new vocabulary, a new language, a new type of art. And to do that even, we worked like 2 years to let AI not to show us real things, but hallucinate and dream. So it's possible to use AI to literally create these dream machines, which is the opposite of what they are designed for. Be pigment.
Anadol's mother, who's from Turkey, says she was shocked, literally, by an exposed wire during one of his early experiments with technology. She explains Rafiq would dismantle things and then try to put them back together, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. When Anadol arrived in LA from Istanbul in 2012 as a student at UCLA, he expected the Los Angeles skyline to be something out of the film Blade Runner.
I arrived so late, 2 a.m. Apparently at that time, the buildings just shut down the lights. I didn't see the LA I was looking for. I saw something dark. But that was the night I believed that one day, I hope, I can just give a life through these beautiful buildings and facades, like the Blade Runner. Let the building dream, remember, and just hallucinate.
Fast forward a decade, and Anadol's dreams are a reality. Whole buildings are his canvas. From the Las Vegas Sphere to Casa Batlló in Barcelona and Walt Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles, now his adopted hometown. And soon, Anadol hopes to open his own museum in downtown LA called Dataland.
Dataland is a place where we interact with data, touch, taste, learn, hear, watch data. It's making invisible visible, inventing a new medium of storytelling, inventing a new ways of communicating with AI, with data, something we don't see but we know that exists, right? That type of new worlds to explore and to discover.
The space will feature AI dreams of the disappearing Amazon rainforest and AI-generated aromas of flowers that don't actually exist yet.
We typed exactly the scientific names of the flowers to be sure that AI understands their type, their color, their form and shapes, and then AI can connect them together to make this AI dream of all the flowers of Amazonia.
How long is this?
Basically, no end. It can dream all these flowers many, many times in different forms and shapes. It can be infinite.
All of this could cause one to ask the question, if the only thing dreaming bigger than artificial intelligence just might be Rafiq Anadol himself.
We've heard plenty about how artificial intelligence is reshaping the workplace. But what could AI bring to the future of warfare? With David Martin, we look to the skies.
When you look at it from this angle, it's a pretty sleek aircraft. Think of what goes on in this hangar at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida as Top Gun AI.
This is one of our main test vehicles.
Major Trent McMullen is a fighter pilot learning to fly alongside the XQ-58, a drone piloted by artificial intelligence and a test bed for a new kind of Air Force. Have you flown with that?
I have. I've flown safety chase on it for several missions, messaging back and forth with the autonomy on board.
How well does it maneuver?
It takes a little bit of getting used to, flying next to it. As humans, we fly very smooth, but it can roll and fly a little bit snappier than maybe a human pilot would.
Sounds like a rougher ride.
It could be a little bit rougher of a ride, but there's no human on board.
Artificial intelligence is on board, and now it's learning how to fight. So what are some of the tasks that you could assign that aircraft?
Hey, there's an adversary out there. Perform an intercept on that adversary. So we've been able to give it some of the basic blocking and tackling of air combat that we as human pilots also train on when we're first learning how to fly.
The XQ-58 blasts off like a rocket, but a full-scale model took off from a runway for the first time in August.
Could you put weapons on it? Absolutely.
General Adrian Spain, head of Air Combat Command, is drawing up plans for operating AI-piloted drones alongside manned aircraft.
You've told them to go out in front and to execute an attack on a complex set of targets, and they will do that.
Are AI drones capable of doing what you just described today?
Absolutely, we can. It is possible today.
An AI-piloted F-16 has already held its own in a limited dogfight against an experienced fighter pilot. At Top Gun AI, other F-16s are being rewired for more realistic combat. Still got a cockpit. Does it still have a pilot?
It does. They can engage the autonomy on and then remain as a safety pilot.
So once the AI goes on, the hands come off?
Yep, they'll be monitoring the system and ready to take over at a moment's notice. But we'll also have real live aircraft out there for it to fight against. Those jets will be piloted by real fighter pilots trying their best to outsmart the AI.
How does the AI get in the plane?
Yeah, is it all right if I use your notebook?
Yeah.
So the pilot's actually going to hand carry something like a cartridge about this size out to the aircraft. And then we're going to have a receptacle for them to put that in.
So it's plug and play?
It's that simple.
Are we witnessing a revolution?
If we continue down this path, it has the potential to be a revolution.
Retired Air Force Lieutenant General Clint Hinote says it's a revolution born of necessity.
The Air Force was so good for so long that it didn't need to change. Now it needs to change, and it's trying to figure out how.
Change because the Chinese Air Force, which recently showcased its newest jet fighters and its own AI drone, could be more than a match for the U.S. Air Force.
If we have to fight China, we're likely doing it in their front yard. And that means they can bring many, many more things to bear than we can because it's just so far away. You're having to achieve kill ratios of 10 to 1, 15 to 1, 20 to 1 to even stay in the game.
So how do these war games come out when American pilots are going up against 20 to 1 odds?
The war games don't turn out very well.
We lose.
We lose.
The Air Force is counting on AI drones to even the odds. What does AI bring to an aircraft that a human pilot doesn't?
The big thing with artificial intelligence is its ability to handle large amounts of data. A human out in a complex air combat environment, there's just no way to absorb all of it. Artificial intelligence might be able to take all of the data information and then process that very quickly and then make real-time decisions.
AI drones will be about half the length of a manned jet fighter and 1/4 the cost, $20 to $30 million each.
You could buy more airplanes put them in the field and still not break the bank. The key would be is that you don't have to bring that human operator home. You actually can take more risk.
How many of these are you planning to field?
We expect to have up to 1,000 aircraft eventually, and 150 by the end of the decade.
These drones aren't just going to sit in a hangar waiting for war with China. What are they going to do in peacetime?
It's pretty wide open.
Could you send up AI drones to intercept those Russian bombers that come down off the coast of Alaska?
Could you? Yes, you could do that.
Those intercepts can turn nasty in an instant. Last year, a Russian fighter rocked an American F-16, so AI drones would have to be prepared to shoot. Is AI going to be making life or death decisions?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The human who's controlling the AI will make the life and death decisions.
At least for now.
Increasingly, militaries around the world, including the United States military, are going to be pressured to give the machines more leeway in making those life or death decisions.
Are we talking about giving them the capability to fire on their own?
The United States military is investing in the experimentation that you would need to be able to produce the types of platforms that could fire on their own if you gave them that option.
And if the other side, let's say AI, make the decisions, what happens?
I think they do so at their own peril, because the AI can be fooled, the AI can be overwhelmed, it can give you false outcomes. We've seen that AI can hallucinate. So it's not a guarantee of success. What it guarantees is that it will do something quickly.
Don't you at least have to give your pilots that option?
To go full autonomy and just let it go? I don't think America's comfortable with that yet. I'm not saying that couldn't be a future world that we live in where we trust it, but I don't think we're there right now, certainly, and certainly not to start. We have to build that trust over time.
At Top Gun AI, pilots keep putting in the reps, test flight after test flight, simulation after simulation, to build that trust. Would you rather go into combat with a human wingman or an AI wingman?
When we're talking about the threats of tomorrow, if I can send an uncrewed asset into a high-risk environment, I'd rather do that than send a human pilot.
We begin this Labor Day weekend with David Pogue and a workplace topic on the minds of many these days: artificial intelligence.
Programs like ChatGPT use artificial intelligence to do thinking or writing or creating for us. Write a memo about laying off 10% of our company. Dear team, I need to share some very difficult news, blah, blah, blah. Summarize previous lawsuits about security deposit disputes. And there are the lawsuits. Mock up 3 box designs for our new Placky toothpaste. And about 30 seconds later, boom. I mean, pretty amazing, but also a little terrifying. I mean, what happens to the people who used to do those jobs?
I've applied to probably over 100 jobs in the past, 6 months, and yeah, none of them are landing.
Olivia Fair graduated 4 years ago. She's had a series of short-term jobs. One was in TV production, transcribing interviews.
But now they don't have a bunch of people transcribing. They have maybe one person overseeing all of that and AI doing the rest, which I think is true for a lot of entry-level positions. And it can be a really useful tool for those people doing that work, but then there's less people needed.
This is a tough year. Job postings have declined year over year by 6.7%. Younger job seekers, specifically those who are recent grads, are having a harder time finding work.
Laura Ulrich is the Director of Economic Research at Indeed, the job listings website. The decline in jobs for recent grads seems to correlate with the rise of AI.
Yes.
Is there a cause and effect?
I think there is a cause and effect, but it's maybe not as significant as a lot of people would think. If you look specifically at tech jobs, job postings are down 36% compared to pre-pandemic numbers. But that decline started happening prior to AI becoming commonly used.
Wow, so if it wasn't AI that caused this decline, what was it?
There was a real hiring boom in tech and in some other sectors, right, in kind of the 2021, 2022 time
pandemic
period,
boom, yeah.
post-pandemic job boom. And so quite frankly, I think some companies overhired.
The uncertain national situation doesn't help either. Tariffs, taxes, foreign policy.
Some other people have used the analogy of like driving through fog. If it's foggy, you slow down a bit, but if it's really foggy, you pull over. And unfortunately, some companies have pulled over to sit and wait to see what is going to happen.
That sounds a little more nuanced than the headlines, which make it pretty clear that AI is coming for our jobs. I mean, are we all just going to wind up as sedentary, idle blobs like in the movie WALL-E?
Well, then what do you want to do? I don't know. Something. Wow.
I read today an interview where a guy said, by 2027, we will be jobless, lonely, crime on the streets. And I said, how do I take the other side of that bet? Because that's just not true, I'm sure of that. It's the subject of every lunch conversation.
David Otter is a labor economist at MIT.
My view is, look, there's great potential and great risk. I think that it's not nearly as imminent on either direction as most people think.
But what it does seem to do is relieve the newcomers, the beginning incoming novices we don't need anymore.
This is really a concern. And judgment, expertise, it's acquired solely. It's acquired through immersion, right? How do I care for this patient or land this plane or remodel this building? And it's possible that we could strip out so much of the supporting work that people never get the expertise. I don't think it's an insurmountable concern, but we shouldn't take for granted that it will solve itself.
So let's cut to the chase. What are the jobs we're going to lose?
We analyzed 2,800 specific skills, and 30% of them could be at least partially done by AI.
So 70% of job skills are not currently at risk of AI?
Right, in its current form.
So, which jobs will AI be likely to take first? Most of it is jobs sitting in front of a screen. Software coding, that's a big one. Accounting, copywriting, translation, customer service, paralegal work, illustration, graphic design, songwriting, any kind of information management. As David Otter says,
what will market demand be for this thing? How much should we order? How much should we keep on stock?
AI will have a much harder time taking jobs involving empathy, creativity, or physicality. Healthcare, teaching, social assistance, mental health, police and fire, engineering, contracting, construction, wind and solar, tourism, the trades like plumbing and electrical. And don't forget about the new job categories that AI will create.
A lot of the work that we do is in things that we just didn't do, 50 or 100 years ago. All this work in solar and wind generation, all types of medical specialties that were unthinkable.
So you can't sit here and tell me what the new fields and jobs will be.
No, right? We're bad at predicting where new work will appear, what skills it will need, how much of it there will be.
But based on what you've studied and the history of labor, you can say it's likely that there will be something new.
There will be new things, absolutely.
So it sounds like you don't think we are headed to becoming a nation of people who cannot find any work or spend the day on the couch watching Netflix.
No, I don't see that. Of course, people will be displaced, certain types of occupations will disappear, right? People will lose careers. That's going to happen. Okay, but we might actually get much better at medicine. We might figure out a way to generate energy more cheaply and with less pollution. We might figure out a better way to do agriculture that isn't so land intensive and so ecologically intensive.
Whatever's going to happen will likely take a while to happen. The latest headlines look like these. Few signs that the tech is taking jobs. AI hasn't taken your job. May not steal jobs after all. Until then, Laura Ulrich has some advice for young job seekers.
The number one piece of advice I would give is move forward. So whether that is getting another job, getting a part-time job, finding a postgraduate internship, reach out to the professors that you had. They have a whole network of former students, right? Reach out to other alumni who graduated from the school you went to or majored in the same thing you majored in. It might be what gets you a job this year.
So far, Olivia Fair is doing all of the above. So you're interested in creativity and writing and production. So let me hear as a human your pitch why you'd be better than AI doing those jobs.
Okay. I'm a person and not a robot.
the lowly grocery cart is on a roll. Jonathan Vigliotti checks it out.
Shopping carts may help haul the food we'll feast on this Thanksgiving, but when their job is done, they rarely get the respect they deserve. But in some American grocery stores, shopping carts aren't just respected,
It's kind of the highlight of our week.
they're beloved. Places like Price Chopper outside Kansas City, where we met Pat and Mike Foster.
There's been a couple times we've come that it's not been available, and it's disappointing.
Here, a new shopping cart is flying off the rack and down the aisle. A digital screen with GPS guides people around the store. Cameras equipped with AI technology rapidly identify and scan products when they're placed in the basket. Coupons are instant, and you can check out and pay right on the handlebar.
You just lift the flap here. It's easy to just look and say the shopping cart is what it is.
Casey Broker with Price Chopper began test driving the smart carts a few months ago.
Analog and digital.
Yeah. You look at the Caper Cart, and it's really this benefit that helps your customer know exactly where they are, and also is going to help us from a sales perspective as well.
It almost turns a chore into something that's engaging, fun.
Everybody goes to the grocery store. Everybody's grabbing a shopping cart. It's a very familiar behavior.
Take me through what we're looking at here.
A behavior David McIntosh with Instacart wanted to turn into a game.
It taps into retailers' existing loyalty programs.
He showed us how Caper Cart works at Instacart's San Francisco headquarters.
When I put items into the cart, you see these 4 AI-powered cameras pick it up. So you see how that...
So that just scanned it as you put it in the cart.
It scanned it, it turned green, and you can see a coupon popped up that I can clip.
The cart is even outfitted with a scale.
Just toss them right in, and you can see the scale update.
That's cool.
Instacart is betting big, spending a whopping $350 million to acquire the technology in 2021. Shopping has come a long way in the last century.
This is where it all began for the shopping cart.
This is it.
The world's first cart was invented in 1937 by an Oklahoma City grocer named Sylvan Goldman, who put wheels and a handle on a folding chair.
He noticed that people stopped buying produce, buying their material when their basket was full. So he came up with this idea of putting a basket on some sort of cart or trolley.
Steve Velasquez is a curator at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C.
So the shopping cart is born in the 1930s. Does it catch on quickly?
It does. He hired actors to pretend shop, to fill the carts, to walk around, and then people started using these carts, and that's when it really took off.
Shopping carts have grown over the decades as markets supersized and refrigerators kept food fresher, longer.
Is it really necessary to reinvent the wheel?
Absolutely. When you think about the shopping experience in store, it hasn't really changed that much in the last 80, 90, 100 years. But think about how much it's changed online. What's happened is that online has transformed customer expectations.
The good old shopping cart, once overlooked, once again changing the way we buy our food.
We've all heard about the promise and perils of artificial intelligence. But lest you have any doubts about its potential, consider this report from our Lee Cowan.
You may think that I'm talking foolish.
Even if you're not into country, you can't help but bathe in the baritone that is Randy Travis.
Oh, darling, I'm gonna love you forever. Forever and ever, amen.
His voice goes down like whiskey, always has.
But on the other hand,
ever since his first album in 1986 with record producer Kyle Lennon.
I thought if we sold 40,000 copies, they might let us make a second record.
And what did that first?
About 4 million. So I'm a genius.
there are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway.
Randy Travis and that voice helped build Warner Music Nashville into what it is today. Chris Lacey is the label's co-chair and co-president.
What was it about his voice that was so unique?
How do you describe a thing that just hits you in the center of your chest, you know, and unconsciously makes you feel full and familiar and known? How do you describe something like that, you know?
Last night I dug your picture out from my old dresser drawer.
His was a God-given talent, and then fate took it all away.
Another serious medical blow to country music star Randy Travis. He suffered a stroke last night at a hospital in Texas.
It felt like it could be the end of an era.
I thought we were going to lose him.
Okay. He was given just a 2% chance of survival. Besides the paralysis, the area of his brain that controls speech and language was hit the hardest.
Music is what he's made of. Music is his heart, it's his soul.
His wife, Mary, does most of the talking these days.
He knows what he wants to say, but
Just doesn't come out.
Mm-mm.
You've made peace with it?
Yep. Yep.
And how do you do that?
Oh, no.
3 years after the stroke, with Mary at his side, Randy Travis was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame and gave Amazing Grace new meaning.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
There wasn't a dry eye in the house.
I told you so.
In his absence, though, he's heard a lot of AI-generated fakes of his voice. A simple Google search brings up sites like these, promising to convert anyone's vocal into a Randy Travis sound-alike.
It doesn't sound good, and it doesn't sound real, because it's not.
And that got his record label thinking.
We started with this concept of what would AI for good look like for us? And the first thing that came to mind was we would give Randy Travis his voice back.
There were, however, more than a few skeptics.
It sounded like, you know, like a parlor trick or something.
But Kyle Lenning, with Randy's blessing, decided to try. He and Warner Music started by pulling 42 Randy Travis tracks from the vault.
Operator, please connect me.
Like this one, the original recording of his hit 1982. And then they stripped away the music, leaving only the vocal.
For what I didn't do.
Wow.
I sure do need to tell her.
That was half the recipe. The other half needed to be provided by a donated or surrogate voice.
So I have to get a level on you.
In this case, that voice came from country music singer James Dupre.
Being a part of new Randy Travis music, I mean, that's like, what?
She had eyes like diamonds when they caught the light.
That's what was put into the model.
The model. It's the secret sauce.
Here's the vocal. Load it in.
An AI program that takes Randy Travis's voice and overlays it on top of James Dupre's singing. It's hardly an exact science.
It's not about how it sounds, it's about how it feels.
And that's not something a computer can figure out.
Not yet.
Kyle knows Randy's voice almost better than Randy does. They worked together for 40 years. This time, though, the task was to take a computer-generated voice and give it Randy's country heart.
Him being here and him being able to be, you know, a vital part of the decision-making process makes all the difference to me.
In the end, they finally landed on something they felt worthy of a voice no one but those who knew him best could replicate.
It's Randy Travis. Randy's on the other side of the microphone. It's still his vocal. There's no reason he shouldn't be able to make music. And to deprive him of that, if he still wants to do that, that's unconscionable to me.
2 months ago, Warner Music gathered a small circle of fellow musicians in a recording studio. Randy sat with a Cheshire Cat's grin. And then they hit play.
She had eyes like diamonds.
Holy crap.
The reaction to his first song in more than a decade was a mix of joy and wonder.
Oh, but they were dark and deeper than the night.
For his wife, tears.
You forget how much you missed it until you hear it again.
For Randy's country friends, like Grammy-winning superstar Carrie Underwood, there was confusion.
How?
For Cole Swindell, who just won 3 ACM awards,
I must have said to myself, it's a great big world.
it reminded him of why he became a country singer in the first place.
For y'all to let me hear it, that means a lot. Damn, I'm glad to hear you sing. Oh.
And veteran country star Clay Walker.
And there ain't no more where that.
He was simply over the moon. Even Randy's own family hadn't heard it until 2 weeks ago.
It's so weird to kind of explain like everything that goes through your head when you're listening to it.
It was perfection, with a caveat.
We don't exactly know how to get here again.
You want to laugh at me as I try to sing this chorus?
She set her diamond ring next to another round of bourbon.
The second song they're working on is proving a harder nut to crack.
Sometimes angels spill whiskey on their wings.
Wow. That is so
I
crazy.
hear how all the vibrato doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
There's still work to be done, clearly, and a lot of questions to answer about what this all means going forward. But revel in this. After a decade-long absence, Randy Travis is back on the radio. His post-stroke debut song, Where That Came From, was released this past week. For Randy Travis, it's not just a single. It's a victory.
It's a life inspiration. Speak kindly, love fully, live completely, and leave the rest to God, you know?
Sounds like there's a song in there somewhere.
We can only hope.
There just ain't no more where that came from.
You say you couldn't make it to Paris to take in the latest Van Gogh show? Not to worry. Seth Doan can tell us all about it.
With bold colors and dramatic brushstrokes, Vincent van Gogh, that tortured genius, has traditionally expressed himself through his art. But now there's also his avatar.
Van Gogh, what is your greatest inspiration?
My greatest inspiration, without a doubt, is nature.
He's a tad monotone, but is equipped with a wealth of knowledge.
It is in nature that I find comfort.
Artificial intelligence combs select biographies and the artist's own writings, 900 letters, covering art, relationships, and his struggles with mental health.
As you can see, the interface is quite simple. It's a digital screen and a microphone, but behind this, there is months of research in artificial intelligence.
Agnès Abastado oversees digital development for the Musée d'Orsay in Paris, as this storied museum in an old train station finds new ways to engage visitors. Its recent Van Gogh exhibition included a virtual reality experience based on the artist's palette and that avatar, Bonjour Vincent, which allows visitors to pose questions to the artist more than a century after his death.
How were the last few months of your life?
The last months of my existence were a blend of both hope and despair, a tumultuous combination that consumed me wholly. In the end, it was a time of great turmoil, which eventually led to my premature demise.
It's remarkably personal.
Yeah, it is personal because this technology really wants to recreate the personality of someone.
Van Gogh was a troubled artist who killed himself at age 37, just 10 years into his painting career. But he was prolific at the end. In his last 70 days of life, he was producing more than a painting a day and dozens of drawings, many of which were gathered at the museum.
You've read those 900 letters of Van Gogh's. I asked the Van Gogh avatar what his greatest inspiration was. He said nature was the avatar, right?
Yes, totally.
Emmanuel Kokari is the exhibition curator. He notes this period of Van Gogh's life is marked by experimentation, clouds painted in reverse, blue brushstrokes over a white background.
It's very lively because you still see the gesture of the painter, and you see the flower here, very thick.
When you're this close to the painting, you can
yes,
actually see the paint.
Exactly. We always say it's a painter of color, but above all, a painter of thickness.
The Dutch artist had moved to the countryside near Paris in May 1890 after famously cutting off his ear and spending time in an asylum. He'd come to see Dr. Paul Gachet, whom he painted.
Dr. Gachet told him to forget about all your trouble, problems, just work, paint. So all day long he painted.
He followed doctor's orders, painting the roots of an acacia tree at the very end.
He finished it on the day he died. And of course, the symbolism is really heavy. He wanted to marry, to find a house, and to root himself in family life with children. He didn't succeed. And he says in his last letter that was found in his pocket, only our painting can speak.
But now those letters are speaking through a higher tech form of expression.
But even though Dr. Gachet gave me his word, I could not bring myself to believe that my troubled mind could ever be healed.
Some visitors could say this is a gimmick or almost a distraction from Van Gogh's art.
It's another way to enter what we know and all the knowledge about Van Gogh. And what I think interesting about this interface is that it's not us, museum, who choose a theme. It's the visitor who really has what he wants to know about Van Gogh.
We asked AI Van Gogh about the initial public reception to his work.
It brings me great grief that so many of my creations remain unacknowledged and unsold.
So he recognized that his art wasn't that well received.
Artificial intelligence only hints at the poetry of Van Gogh's writing. He was prolific in life and, as it turns out, prophetic before death.
Though I cannot claim to foresee what is to come, I hold firmly to my conviction that true art, possesses the ability to transcend time and stir the hearts of generations to come. To me, the worth of my art lies in its power to reverberate with others and to reveal a glimpse into the splendor and intricacy of life itself.
You dial the number, navigate the recorded instructions, and if you're lucky, there's a person, a real person on the other end of the line. If you're lucky. But more often than not, you don't get the action you'd hoped for. So, is your call important to them, really? David Pogue looks at customer service, its frustrations, and its future.
A call may be recorded or monitored.
Want to know how I spent my Tuesday? Trying to report some fraudulent credit card charges.
I'm calling Global Commercial Card.
Hi. Yes, I'm trying to report some fake charges on my credit card.
I'll connect you with our fraud team.
I see.
Thanks so much for your business.
Okay. Customer service is a real problem in this country. Just ask literally anyone.
So I've got a tale for your customer service story.
That said, we're sorry. We don't have anybody right now to answer your call. Please call back another time.
AT&T had me on the phone for 6 hours.
The airline gave me the runaround via email. It kept saying it couldn't find our flight.
I said, lady, the technician is standing 2 feet in front of me, and he has the unit in his hand.
So why is customer service so bad? First of all, labor shortage. Especially since the pandemic, it's hard to find people who want the call center jobs. The average call center worker quits after about 18 months. Second, consolidation. All those corporate mergers of airlines and banks and telecom companies and cable companies. Now there's not as much competition, so there's less incentive to fix the problems. So what happens? You get a lot of unhappy customers, or worse.
Needless to say, I did not stay with Verizon Wireless.
So I filed a complaint with the Public Service Commission.
Now I'm the proud owner of a new website where I plan to detail the rotten customer service.
And so to this day, I have upstairs in my guest room a 4K DirecTV box that drops out every 4 minutes, and it's hooked up to a TV that isn't 4K.
This isn't about money, it's about human decency.
Well, if it's any consolation, there is a group of people who may be even more frustrated by the customer service situation than you are. And that is the customer service agents.
They call in, they see you as part of the organization that's imposing the issue rather than a human being.
Believe it or not, I've had somebody curse me out completely. They can't see you, they're just over the phone. So they take advantage of that, of course.
They call with their frustrations. They don't understand the procedures. They have been told no multiple times.
And sometimes that brushes off on me. I'm frustrated too. I want to help you out. I stand up. I'm like, I feel like I'm going to get in a state where I'm sweating.
Would you ever say to a caller, I need to put you on hold for a second, when you really don't, but you just need a break?
Of course. Of course.
Dominique Raymond, Kayla Zuniga, Generis Ortiz, and Calvin Echevarria.
HIPAA purposes, if you could just please provide me with your date of birth.
Work in customer support for health companies and patient advocacy nonprofits in Orlando.
Well, right now, I don't even see that you're registered, so there's nothing to resubmit.
I've read that turnover in call center work is more than double the average of other jobs.
I think it's hard. They're not necessarily looking for a resolution, they're looking to vent.
Yep.
So, yeah, that can be kind of difficult and taxing.
Okay, give me just a second. Let me pull.
Customer service is not easy. It's not meant for everyone.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
So, if the job can be so hard, why do they do it?
There's also a lot of redeeming qualities. It's very mentally stimulating because every day is a new challenge or new experience.
The beauty of it is, honestly, to me, is to help out there. It brings me joy. Sometimes I cry with the patient. I'm so excited to actually help someone out.
No cable company customer call center employee has ever cried with me.
Thank you for holding.
And so for years, that's how things have stood. Two frustrated armies of people on opposite ends of the line, each frustrated by a dysfunctional, underfunded system. And then, this happened.
My name is Grace. I'm a virtual front desk agent. What can I help you with today?
I left a bag at the gate.
Can you describe the item?
It's a 9-foot Steinway grand piano.
I have good news for you. We were able to locate an item matching that description.
Welcome to the new age of artificial customer service. Artificial intelligence, that is.
You can adjust these personality sliders. How much empathy should the bot show? How much should it respond to your emotion?
Nico Benitez is a co-founder of GridSpace, creators of an AI phone rep called Grace.
My name is Grace.
At this moment, more than 100 hospital chains, airlines, phone companies, and banks use Grace to take customer calls.
It doesn't sound like you're talking to a robot. You hear the ums and uhs and all the imperfections that indicate that someone is listening.
Anthony Scuderi is another GridSpace co-founder.
And so if you have a system that feels like it's listening to you and doesn't make you restate yourself, it's much less frustrating as a user interface.
How does Grace make life easier for the humans at the call center?
Well, that's a really hard job. And it's just people yelling at you all day. And so one way Grace can help is by being kind of a bit of a blast shield. By, first someone calls in, they state their intent, they complain, the bot tries their best to help them, and then the person can kind of come in as the hero. I mean, that's in general how automation really helps people, which is it enables people to do the stuff that people are best at. But then for the other 90% of calls where people are calling in with password reset, or whatever, Grace can just deal with that.
GridSpace set up a fake Airline 800 number so I could witness firsthand how Grace hands you off to a human when the problem requires creativity.
Thanks for calling CBS Airlines.
I have a service animal. Can I bring my service animal?
Yes, you are allowed to bring your service animal on board.
Okay, it is a tiger. Is that okay?
I'm sorry, but I don't have any information about bringing a tiger as a service animal. I'd be happy to transfer you to an agent.
So common sense is not her strong suit.
If there's no policy about tigers, she's not going to invent one. Unrestrained AI acting as a representative of your company can get you in a lot of trouble. And so we would rather err on the side of being real by the book, real literal.
Meanwhile, Grace offers another benefit to us puny humans: much less sitting on hold. She's answering millions of phone calls simultaneously.
Yeah, picks up right away, even if it's a machine.
A fascinating concept, but not everyone is sure that AI is the answer.
It seems like you lose that connection, that ability to make that good first impression and to connect with the patient right off the bat. So it seems impersonal.
I love the fact that we can actually they're live agents. You can't do that with an AI.
Take that, Grace. Plenty of companies are working on AI customer support systems like Grace, but until they become widespread and reliable, most of the people answering your calls will still be people.
We get them at their worst, but then
Right.
also at times when you can pivot and recover that situation, then get them at their best and their most grateful.
They'll write your name down and say, hey, like, I want to let your supervisor know that you helped me. And even though I started yelling at you from the beginning, it was not your fault. You assisted me and you never hung up on me.
So you forgive them their anger?
Yeah. So no need to forgive. There's no forgiving. I don't take that personal.
No.
You just needed somebody to listen to.
You as well. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.